Thank you for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an Amazon FBA business for sale in the home and kitchen niche. Created in September 2013, this business makes $17,087 per month in net profit, and the listing number for the business is 44624. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the businesses they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Jonathan, thank you for coming on here today. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well, very well. Thank you for asking and again for taking the time. I'm really glad we were able to coordinate today to get you on to talk about this $500,000 business. Before we dive into the questions that I have for you, I want to go ahead and run through a little quick summary of the business. Again, the business was built in September of 2013, has a monthly revenue of $168,823, expenses of $151,735 to make for a net profit of $17,087, which is generated on a 10-month average. Included in the sale of this business are 57 SKUs, exclusive supplier contacts, Amazon Seller Central account, branded domain, trademark, and Amazon brand registry. Please note that inventory is not normally included in the list price. Further details can be provided to active depositors. Jonathan, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. So as a young kid, at home, I was always buying and selling things from China, flipping them on eBay. And I kind of did that throughout high school. I had a vending machine business, and I've always been very entrepreneurial. I actually got a job in finance for the first 4 years out of college. And after that experience, I decided that that wasn't the life for me. And I pivoted to starting an FBA business. And I grew that, started off of credit cards and kind of grew it to where it is today over the past 6 years.
6 years, that is quite a while, just looking back over the course of the business history. How has your involvement with the business, evolved as you have grown the business in the last 6 years?
Absolutely. I mean, I think when you first start out, you're kind of hitting refresh every 5 minutes on the Seller Central account to see any pending orders, and you're just ecstatic to see any sales at all. And, I think I've learned a lot, adding more SKUs, growing the business. And then ultimately, as an entrepreneur, you hit a point where maybe the business has gotten ahead of you and you can't take it to the next level. Or in my case, a combination of something else where I feel like I've kind of burned out on the opportunity and kind of lost that hunger and that stimulation that I craved early on when I was constantly hitting refresh on Seller Central every 5 minutes or so.
And is that why you have decided to sell the business today? You just have kind of lost interest on it?
Well, I've got my hands in a few different opportunities that have interested me in other businesses and entrepreneurial endeavors. And yeah, I just think that, it's kind of gotten monotonous in the functions and kind of the niche and opportunity that I've pursued. And I think the business would definitely be better suited with someone else that could kind of take it to the next level and maybe branch out into some other channels.
It's certainly an interesting thing because you have built a $500,000 business, which is no small feat at all. When you look back over the last year, just looking again at the numbers, something you notice is that, there was a bit of a dip in February of this year. You were still profitable, but it wasn't nearly to the level that it has been the last couple months. So what was going on in February?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the numbers really show kind of why I'm even pursuing a sale. And they really prove that to me other than showing it to the potential buyers. And that's that, when you start missing deadlines, for instance, I missed Chinese New Year to get a container out, and therefore I was stocked out of some profitable products. Or on the inverse, I had too much inventory of other products going into the holiday season, which really ramped up my storage charges. And it kind of just proved to me that the operational efficiency of running a business on Amazon is much more important than it used to be. And, therefore I've really tried to stabilize the business and kind of, get my head in the game and really show that this is a great business. And I think the last few months have really proved that it can kind of continue to go in this direction. But my inability to really have a tight rein on days of inventory and maximize the earnings power of the business really has been revealed in those kind of rougher months earlier in the year.
And then that kind of brings us to today, where you are making about $25,000 every single month in net profit over the last, several months. And looking at the business, what do you, the owner, have to do on a monthly basis or even a weekly basis to maintain that $25,000 in profit?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, in all honesty, there's not a lot that you have to do. You need to really take care of your customers, and you need to, most importantly, you need to prepare for, future orders, or have a great, forecasting and production schedule, given that, China is 30 to 70 days out in terms of production and shipping by sea. And you need to prepare for that, and you need to prepare for the holidays, and kind of really have, again, a tight rein on days of inventory and inventory control. And you also, if you want to grow the business, you need to get creative and think about other products that, could really add to the product lineup and be of value to the Amazon customer base.
With the Amazon customer base in mind, why did you settle upon the Amazon FBA business model rather than setting out on, say, a Shopify storefront on your own website?
Yeah, that's a great question. You've got a built-in audience on FBA, and when family friends ask, hey, why does somebody buy your product over another? The real simple answer is visibility. And if you can master visibility on Amazon, whether it's through keyword ranking or PPC or any other methods that you're doing, that increases your visibility to that audience of 300 million plus people. And the propensity and trust that Amazon has built with their customers to just have your credit card, stored on file and just hit buy now, that's really, a very unique experience that is much harder to replicate on a Shopify store or, a standalone e-commerce platform.
For sure. And, that is something that a lot of people love about Amazon FBA, where you have this giant customer install base and you're on Amazon's platform, so you get their entire install base. But then looking at what you have with the business today, there is a branded website, correct?
Well, I do own the domain, but...
Okay. So you own the domain, but you don't have anything set up on that domain.
That's correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So do you feel like there is opportunity to expand beyond Amazon? And if someone comes in with, say, Shopify knowledge and they can market outside of Amazon with social media marketing, drive traffic to that website, do you feel like there's opportunity there?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that the number one regret that I have in my whole e-commerce learning experience up until this stage in my career is that I haven't been able to build my own customer list. And, I've sold tens of thousands of orders over the years. I don't have a single email. And, if one has experience in building up that Facebook community or having inserts in their product and squeezing them to, some type of click funnel, if they have knowledge in that sphere of e-commerce, I think that there's a huge opportunity, especially given the brand credibility. When you Google the brand, and there's a lot of credible reviews from third-party review sites and just general cachet with the brand. Absolutely a great opportunity for someone that knows Shopify well.
So then you also have the emails that you mentioned, and then the social media marketing. There is a world of opportunity out there to grow on platforms outside of Amazon. So is the reason why you haven't really tackled some of those just due to lack of time and expertise in those areas?
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes a lot of resources, whether it's financial or human capital or just general, grit and determination to kind of learn those channels. And if someone has that experience and can kind of couple that with this opportunity or this business, I think it does make a lot of sense. But those are all skills that I've kind of just now started learning that I wish I had built up, 2 or 3 years ago. But you're absolutely correct.
What do you feel some of the other opportunities for growth are for the business?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think being in the home category, there's a lot of adjacent products that could be bundled with the current offering or that would, be a great upsell, or cross sell. If you look at, for instance, in the bedroom, some of the products are bedroom products. And typically, when you buy one brand of a specific product, you're going to oftentimes trust that brand and buy other products that may fit in your basket. So I think that, broadening out within kind of the lineup at the different vendors that I have would be an opportunity. Pursuing other Amazon marketplaces outside of the US is a great opportunity. Shopify is also a fantastic opportunity, and social media. Those would be the real low-hanging fruit. And furthermore, the biggest, near-term opportunity is just to manage inventory better, have greater inventory controls, and be able to manage a broad array of SKUs that I've kind of dropped in some cases to streamline the business a little bit more and make it easier for myself.
Do you feel like there are any major potential risks associated with this business that you would want a potential new owner to be aware of?
That's a great question. I actually think there's less risk today than there would have been, because previously, in 2017 and before, the business had a much larger piece of the revenue driven by a specific product. And that has kind of contracted a bit and made it a little bit more balanced of a business in terms of, which listings are generating, the amount of revenue contributed to the top line. So in that sense, there's not a lot of product risk. The listings are very long-standing, and some of them have, several thousand reviews. So I think that's a real opportunity for someone to kind of accelerate, the credibility that has been built. The biggest risk in general is the evolution of Amazon, and whether or not that's a challenge or an opportunity to a new owner, and whether they can diversify just from Amazon US. I think that would be the biggest risk in my view.
Have you explored getting outside of just Amazon US? Have you explored getting onto Amazon UK, stuff like that?
I have. I've looked at the DE, the Germany platform, and kind of selling into the broader European region. Again, one of the things that I have not been able to accomplish is really building a team around myself. And I think, if you have different, team members or people with skills that are able to manage different aspects of the business and different channels, that would really help grow this business. And I've reached a pivot point, which is why we're having this discussion, is do I want to dig deep and build a team around this and try and pursue all these avenues and channels, or do I think it's better suited for another entrepreneur that may have expertise and desire to pursue those avenues? And that's why we're here today.
So when you talk about starting out, you mentioned a couple things throughout this interview that, you kind of regret or you wish you had done this. But if there was one piece of advice you would have that you could go back and tell yourself when you started out, what would it be?
What would it be? Well, I think I had mentioned it earlier on, Jake. I would have familiarized myself with learning active campaigns or ManyChat or, even Facebook, and just building a community, because your customers are everything. The people that care about your product and your brand are the lifeblood of your business. And it doesn't matter what type of products you want or you think should be in the marketplace. It matters what your customers want and what they're willing to buy. So again, the thing that I would pursue, and especially if I were to continue on in e-commerce, is definitely, no question, building a customer database and a customer list. It'll help you with launching. It'll help you with product discovery or product research. And it'll help you kind of clean up inventory when you have too much of a given SKU. So those would be my real suggestions or biggest, regrets on things that I wish I would have done a little bit better.
And on the one hand, there are regrets and things you didn't get done. And on the other hand, glass half full, there are opportunities for a new owner to take advantage of to grow the business even more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no question. And, I think this is a really unique opportunity in the sense that, the business reached, a high point in terms of revenue last year, and it's kind of, bottomed out and really made a nice comeback the past few months. And then really, I think I've revealed to any potential buyer that there's a lot of power here that could be unleashed if someone had the right skill set.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, you made $25,000 in profit last month, right? So, I mean, that certainly helps when you look at the state of the business to feel like if it's doing well or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And furthermore, I mean, as a buyer, either you're paying the multiple that Empire Flippers is putting on these businesses, you're paying that at the maximum, monthly output or earnings power of one of these businesses, or you're paying it at a discount. And right now, it seems pretty obvious that it's kind of trading at a discount, the multiple that you all are putting on it. So I think it's a real opportunity for someone.
Jonathan, would you commit to a non-compete?
Yeah, absolutely. I have no desire to pursue any of these products in the future. And, like I said, part of the reason for me selling this business is that I've kind of lost stimulation for the products and for the business itself.
How much support are you willing to offer a new owner during the transition period?
Yeah, I'd be happy to arrange any training or any help that an owner needs to feel comfortable with running the business on a day-to-day basis. That can all be negotiated, and by no means am I just trying to sell this business and cut loose. I'm happy to definitely migrate, any learning or skill sets that need to be obtained.
Are you willing to negotiate on something like an earnout?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely open to any offers that, that we can review and kind of take a look and see if they make sense. But yeah, I'm open to see, whatever buyers would like to submit.
Awesome, Jonathan. Thank you so much. I do have another question for you, but before we get to that, I want to go ahead and run through that quick summary of the business again. The business was built in September of 2013, has a monthly revenue of $168,823, expenses of $151,735 to make for a net profit of $17,087, which is generated on a 10-month average. Included in the sale of this business are 57 SKUs, exclusive supplier contacts, Amazon Seller Central account, branded domain, trademark, Amazon brand registry. Please note that inventory is not normally included in the list price. Further details can be provided to active depositors. Jonathan, if you were looking at this business from the perspective of a buyer, objectively looking at this, why do you feel like it is a business worth buying?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's a lot of reasons, especially trying to get into Amazon, where Amazon has kind of matured to. And I'll give you a few off the bat. First of all, a lot of sellers that enter the space, they get into products that are, low end in price point. Those are very competitive products. That's very hard to sustain a business on, say, $0 to $20 products. A lot of my products are $50 and above. And the sweet spot of Amazon is kind of $20 to $50. I think that's a good little price point, but the credibility of the brand, when somebody buys a $100 product or a $90 product, they really have a lot of trust in you. And I think that is very hard to replicate or duplicate. So that would be one, is the price points. The other would be just the general review count in terms of verified reviews over a long period of the business, which are very hard to replicate in today's Amazon system. And the last thing would be just the product niche itself is not a trendy or fatty product. These are long-standing products that should hold up in, recessionary times as well as, growth expansion times. And I think that is very appealing, that, they're consistent products that are even not very heavily driven in, holiday or seasonal times. Having that consistency is really important. So those would be three kind of key things that I'd love to mention to a potential buyer.
Jonathan, thank you so much for taking the time today. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely, Jake. Thanks so much for having me.
If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you want more information, the link will be below the video that will take you to this marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the listing site and want more information, become a depositor today. When you make the deposit, one of our business advisors will be in contact with you, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.